JB here, JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding Wednesday, February 11th, 3:30 on this fine afternoon. Really quick rant, probably 2 minutes. I always say that in terms of the 10 minutes. Talk about the market, some names I'm looking at. Take a look at the SPY S&P. It's actually flat as a pancake, 692 here on the SPY after this morning's surprisingly strong jobs report. You have people spinning both sides of it. All these other data points were kind of gave expectation that the jobs report was going to be extremely weak with the challenger report, all these other data pieces because the jobs report was postponed. And now you have the report come out, surprising to the upside, unemployment rate ticking down. I was kind of surprised there. And then, so they take the monthly report, now they look at the full year, right? And then you go back, so over the past year, there's only been, whatever it was, 200,000 jobs created. So it's all just spun, however it wants to be spun. We'll see how markets play out here. Nice gap this morning, but then the gap got sold off. 697 all the way down to 689 on the SPY by about 10:30, and then we've kind of a little bounce at 10:30 and chopping around ever since. Small caps down 7/10%, and then it was back to selling in the software names. So a little concerning to me. I put it. I don't know if it was in the chat room on a Finto too. It's almost like it's indiscriminate selling on some of these names. It doesn't the valuations. It's not that they don't matter. It's like they're just going to sell it till it stops, and then it'll get revalued when buyers come back in. I mean, names like Reddit. I mean, I guess the thing that really caught my attention this morning is Shopify. Just amazing report, and I'm kicking myself because the name I was watching all last week. I got to be in calls. Got to be in calls. Didn't get in the calls, and then I'm kicking myself, and then boom, reverses course, and it's 120. I'm like, this is going to keep dropping all the way down to 1960. Is bounced. It's sitting here 114. Just another one of those names. It's like, is this going to be an $80 stock in the coming months? Just because they're revaluing the whole sector. Then similar thing, Reddit. Yesterday afternoon, I'm kicking myself for not looking to get some spec calls on Reddit. It's all the way in the 150s, and then they sold off today, all the way down to 130 to 137. Is it bouncing? So to try and trade some of these names using my normal mindset, which would be okay. I think Reddit's headed higher, right? I mean, I think it should have been trading 180 plus this week. I can't look at that right now because it's like the market it doesn't care. And same with Shopify. Normally I'd look for some spec lotto calls. It's like maybe I got to play some oh crap oh shit puts on Shop to play for a move to $80 or puts on Reddit to play for a move to 110. So if that's my mindset right now, it doesn't make sense for me to start to be aggressive in any shape anyway whatsoever. So kind of been nibbling, dabbling, sitting on my hands a little bit. When the software names are starting to pull, I'm looking at Intuit, and I'm like, do I get some oh crap 350 puts on Intuit? And it was at $400. And again, that's a name back last year I was looking at puts on. I'm like, this is a name that Intuit and Adobe are two names I think disruption to AI, right? And then the other outlier names I don't think as much, but so I got the puts on Adobe, and sure enough, Adobe's been flatlined ever since I got the puts. But it's one of those things I put in FinTwit earlier on private Twitter in the chat room is that if I close the puts out, I'm holding them as a hedge because even it's sitting here 255, it's still 2 days left, or 257, still 2 days left in the week. It's not going to take much for another pull. So another one of those names. You look at Adobe. It's so fundamentally. If you look at the fundamentals, it's like historically. It's one of the most inexpensive names. Just on it's cash, its earnings power, all that. It's mind-boggling, but it doesn't matter right now, right? So we'll see where things take us. To me, in an environment like this, I just keep things small because small can become very big if we get some swings. I hope it's not a swing to the downside, but you just got to keep open to possibilities. So that's overall market. 693 on the SPY. We were churning around there. Yesterday, we're sitting here at 692, so maybe we get a close above that today. And then we have CPI data Friday. Earnings after close. AppLovin. AppLovin might be kind of like the sign if this software situation is not done. Not that it's going to give line of sight 100% to the software side of things, but if that just gets sold off, I mean, you take a look. Stock was $250 back in April, all the way up to $600. It's a divisive name, so not going to trade it. Premiums are insane, but definitely want to watch after the close today. So that's overall markets. Kick myself. End phase did the same thing it did the last 4 sessions. I was hoping today wouldn't be the case. Ran up to highs. I think it was 51.70, and then boom, sold off. And so I got those calls yesterday. I'll definitely revisit at some point. I'm not going to try and play the bounce here today. Sitting here 48.16. You know my thoughts here. Insider buy. Just a great story in the energy space. Same with SolarEdge. So I'll continue to sit on my hands there. What else we have here? There's Adobe. Other names. Look at HubSpot, right? I mean, just insane. Look at the picture on this one. And normally I would look for puts. I mean, for calls for a pitcher, right? So someone to service now last week, but it's like, is this going to drop to? Is going to cut in half from here? It's going to go to 150. You can't rule some of these moves out. And if you can kind of think outside the box, that's where you make the big money, right? Thinking outside the box on crazy moves that when they materialize and you're in expensive positions, they turn into big positions, right? Finding them, right? That's the tricky part. So that's HubSpot. Why don't I have that chart? Oh, Serve Robotics. Gap in with the numbers all the way up to 1080 today. And then boom, sell mode again. It's just like the shorts right now, they're in control. Small caps are off 7/10% today. So I think that's some of it. Just doesn't make sense. Normally I'd be nibbling more calls. I think it should be substantially higher. Right now, the market doesn't think so. Just other names I'm looking at. I mean, I was talking about Corning. That I was watching this morning, all the way down to 126. And sure enough, I take it off the watch. Look in the afternoon, it's up at highs here. Name at some point I'll visit. I mean, look at some of these other names in the memory space. SanDisk on fire, Micron. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of other names. I'll be, try and do something like Moderna. News after the close yesterday. I remember looking yesterday afternoon. It has earnings Friday or Thursday, and I keep thinking that's going to be a monster name in 2026. And FDA nixed I guess I don't know the exact news release, but it had nothing to do with their data or anything. Stock sold off. I'm like, oh, maybe it's an opportunity, and then hits 37.50 in the morning. I don't watch. Boom, it's $3 off the lows. Maybe at some point I look for some calls there. But yeah, I'm not going to be aggressive on any names until I get convicted in regards to what the market's going to do. All right, so that's it. I'm trying to think of some of the other names. Look at cocoa, coconut water, all the way up almost near all-time highs here, up 58 bucks. There's other names that are doing well. Look at Gilead today. I remember looking at one, and it it was 70 bucks, 80 bucks, 90 bucks. You just knew at some point some of these biotech names were going to go on a run. Biogen, right? Oh, yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to think of other things. I'm looking, Roku reports at the end of the week. And I'm like looking at the calls this morning. Things on sale. It's 86 and change at 1 o'clock. Here is at 87 bucks. I'm like, I might be able to get some less expensive calls tomorrow. So with that being said, that's a name I'll be watching for earnings after close tomorrow. And that's it, folks. That's my quick rant here today. If anything changed, I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.